and welcome back to the Common Connected podcast. I'm your host, Janine Halloran, and today's episode is about playful ways to explore feelings with kids. So you may have heard me talk before about the importance of emotions and feelings labeling for kids, for them to be able to say what they are feeling. That's one of the first steps in being able to help them self-regulate. When you say how you feel, it becomes easier to regulate. But how do you explore that in a way that feels fun and engaging for kids? So I like to play games. That is the reason why I became a therapist, and there are lots of games you can play that are related to feelings labeling, feelings words, exploring feelings, having fun with feelings, talking about feelings. So one of the things that I wanted to share with you was some games that I like to play with kids to help them explore feelings. So I have 3 particular games that I'm going to talk about today. So they're Feelings Memory, How Would You Feel, and Feelings Jenga. So let's get started talking about Feelings Memory. You may be familiar with the game Memory. So instead of using images of just other items, Feelings Memory uses feelings faces, or sometimes I even use emojis. So I take 20, say, feelings faces or 20 emojis, and I make sure that I have 2 of each. And I set it down in a grid just like you play Memory, and you flip over. And if it matches, great, then you get another turn. If it doesn't match, you keep going. And you go until both people have gone and all of the matches are done. And it's a fun way to explore feelings. It's a fun way just to get used to looking at feelings. It's a great jumping off point for talking about how different people's faces look when they feel different ways. So how does angry look versus how does sad look versus how does happy look? What do people's eyes do? What do people's mouths do? So it can be really fun. Plus, it's just fun to play Memory. So as a therapist, I love playing games, and that's a great way to just start having a little bit of interaction around feelings. So super simple, super easy to set up. The second game I like to play is a game I call How Would You Feel activity. So what I do is I start with maybe 4 or 6 feelings. So happy, sad, mad, frustrated, worried, scared. And what I do is I either put those feelings, I use faces, or I use the feelings words themselves. And I have specific things that might happen to a child, specific situation. So for example, your friend stopped talking to you, or another example of a situation is it's the first day of school. Another example, it's going to be raining all day, or a trip you were excited about just got canceled. So when you are talking through each of these situations, each of these scenarios, then kids pick where they might feel. How would you feel if that happened to you? So if your friend stopped talking to you, how would you feel? And then they choose from one of the feelings that's out there, either the face or the word. So for some kids, I do this and I keep it pretty much on the table we're working at. So I'll just put the words in front of us or the feelings faces in front of us, and we can point to it and they can let me know, oh, this is how I would feel. That's how I would feel if that situation happened to me. For other kids who need a little bit more movement, I'll actually put them around the room that we're working in. So that way they actually have to physically move their body to the spot where they would feel. It helps for those kids who have a little bit of the wiggles and they can't sit still, so they can go and move to the spot and get a little bit of movement in that way. And it's kind of fun because it can give you an opportunity to really get a chance to understand the inner workings of the child that you're working with. How would they feel if something like this happened? Maybe they really love rainy days and you didn't know that before. Or, maybe something is happening and a lot of their friends are in fights and they're seeing it all the time. And that's something that really can spark a conversation. So that's why I really like to be able to have this game and have situations that are typical sort of situations that happen for a child. But if there are particular situations that are coming up for this kid, you can absolutely create your own and have those be part of the situation so that you can understand how they might be feeling in that situation. So how would you feel activity can actually incorporate movement. Just a great way to kind of get an understanding of how a child would feel in these different situations. Kind of a fun thing to do, exploring feelings in particular situations. And then finally, the last game I use all the time is feelings Jenga. So I created feelings Jenga. I think it's 54 blocks, and I have all these different questions about feelings. So something as simple as, how are you feeling today? I feel scared when, I feel worried when, 3 things that make me happy. So there's 54 questions, all really sort of related to how are kids feeling, how do other kids feel, just trying to help kids identify things that make them happy, like what's something that makes you smile, those sorts of things. So the way that I like to use feelings Jenga is actually by playing Jenga. And then as you pull out a block, you can read the question that's on the Jenga block, and then you can answer it. And sometimes when I'm working with a child, they like it when I answer it too. Other times we like it if we just take turns. So I pull out a block and I answer it. They pull out a block and they answer it. So it's a fun way to really explore feelings. I actually have like 3 different versions of Jenga now. I have a, getting to know you Jenga when I first start working with kids. That's one of the first activities I tend to do with almost all of my clients because it's a playful way to get them started talking. So I typically play getting to know you Jenga, but then as time goes on, sometimes I want to explore feelings a little bit more because it really can be helpful to understand what is going on in their world. And so I use feelings Jenga, and I'm in the midst of creating a coping skills Jenga where they actually will do coping strategies in the moment during the game, which I'm really super excited about. So the 3 ways that I talked about today, the 3 games, feelings memory, how would you feel activity, and feelings Jenga, these are all available in the Coping Skills Community Hub. All of these games plus more. I actually just created a whole section called Games and Activities because I wanted to be able to tap into that playfulness and that fun activity based learning so that kids can actually really start to explore their feelings, explore coping skills, try coping skills in a playful and fun manner. So if you want to learn more about that, you can go over to copingskillsforkids.com/hub, and you can learn about all the other things, including the games and activities that are included in the hub. If you like this podcast, please feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues. And as always, don't forget about yourself. Take a few minutes, have a little fun, and have an awesome day.